Okay, so I want each of you to use your brain and to put an answer in there of why you think we read. Why do we pick up books or magazines or find an article online and read? Why do we read? Luke?
Because we learn and think and we write.
Okay, so we can learn from books. We can think about what books tell us. We can write about what books tell us. Good. What do you think? We read to learn. Okay, good. Yeah. So we do read to learn. We read books to gather information or to find new things out about certain topics, okay? So we're going to read one later about leopards. So we're going to use it to gather information. But do we only read just to learn, or can we read for fun?
We can
read for fun. Is that what you were going to say? Yeah, we can read for fun. We can read because we like it, because it makes us happy, because it's enjoyable, okay? So we can learn to read and to gather information, and we can also read just for fun. But today we're going to focus on reading to gather new information, okay? So, you all have seen this poster before, haven't you? Because we've already talked about the Q in our Hit the Quad poster. So what does the Q stand for? Someone raise their hand. Christine. Read the whole question. So Q stands for question. So when we have our code read, you're going to have your code read on one side and your questions on the other. Before you even look at or read through your code read, you're going to look at your questions, right? And are you going to read the first part of the question? No. Are you going to read the very end of the question? No. You're going to read the whole question, right? Because that will tell us important things to look for in the story, okay? So it kind of gives you a little heads up about what you're going to be reading about and looking for, okay? All right, so we're going to talk about the U today and Hit the Quad. Yes, Cedric? We'll read it in just a second. Before we read what the U stands for, we're going to do our Hit the Quad dance, all right? So everybody up, I'm going to do it with you, all right? I want to see your best dance move. Best dance move.
Oh, what's he got on the hammer?
Alright, stretch it out, get warmed up. Go back. Now watch Cedric, he knows his dance. I like these dance moves. Poster stands for, alright? So everyone look right here. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what they think the U stands for? You can look at the poster if you want. Cedric.
Underline.
Underline, right. So what are we going to underline? We're going to underline important words and phrases. So a phrase, that means 2 or 3 words put together in a sentence, okay? So if I'm reading a story about Christine, and I read the sentence that says, Christine always wears her pink sparkly shoes for good luck. We know the shoes is important, right? Because that's what the sentence is talking about. So shoes that give her good luck. But is it just any old pair of shoes? No. What kind of shoes are they? Bryson?
They are public shoes.
The pink sparkly shoes, right. So we're going to underline pink sparkly shoes because that phrase is important to the sentence, right? Okay, so we know we're going to read the questions before we even read our story, right? And why do we say we read the questions? Cedric?
Because if you just go, if you can't read from top, you can't read from the bottom, so you have to read the whole question.
You have to read the whole question, that's right. Because questions include important words and phrases that you're going to have to look for in your story. So, we know that we'll see important things in our story, but we also find them in our questions, right? So we're going to read our questions and look for those important words. So if you see words in your story that you see in the questions, do you think you should underline them because they might be important?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so once you are reading your story, we're going to try and figure out what kind of words or phrases are important to the story. So if we are reading, our cold read today is about leopards. So we're going to be reading about leopards. So what kind of words or phrases do we think might be important in this story that tell us about leopards? Jaden.
Leopards.
So we think,
and faster.
okay, so you said leopards. Why do you think leopards is important?
Because it's going on the top.
Okay, it's bolded on the top. It's our title, right? So sometimes, one second. So sometimes our title will tell us what the story is about. Most times it will, but sometimes it doesn't, so you have to read through the story. So this story we know is about leopards. So if I see the word leopard in my story, do you think that's an important word?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might want to underline it, okay? So we know what the story is about is important, and you want to underline that. What else in the story might be important? What about what the story is about? Yeah.
Can I underline that?
No, I'll get that in a second. But we want to know things about what the story is about. So if we're learning about leopards, we might want to learn things like, or keep looking out for things about what they look like. What else might we want to look for? Bryson.
They run faster.
Okay, so things that they do. So they run fast. Maybe why they do those things. Okay.
What
Luke,
do they eat?
Luke, what do you think?
Leopards.
Yeah, we know our story's about leopards, so that's important.
Leopards
So we're gonna look at
climb trees.
okay, so what they do, right? That's what Bryson said. So we're gonna look at things like what they do, why they do those things, other things they might like to do, what they look like. Okay. So as I read, I'm gonna read the very first sentence, and you're just gonna listen and watch me. Okay? Because I'm gonna show you how to pick out these words and how to underline it. So as we read our story, are we gonna underline all the words in the whole story?
No.
No. Why not?
Because they're not all important.
They're not all most important, right? So there's some words that are more important than others, like what we just talked about. And also, if you underline, it might make it look super messy. It might be kind of hard to read. It might confuse you some, so you might not learn all that you could. This sentence tells me 2 things that leopards like to do. I think that's important. What you like to do is important, right?
Yeah.
So what leopards like to do are important. So they like to climb and hide. So I'm going to underline those 2 things. So you see how as I was reading, I underlined when I read the word. I didn't wait till the very end of the story, because if you wait till the very end, you might forget what you wanted to underline, right? So it's important as you are reading the word to go ahead and underline it right away, okay? All right, so as I read my second sentence, if you hear me say an important word or an important phrase, I want you to clap once. So everybody clap once. Everybody clap once. Everybody clap once. Good. Did we clap 2, 3, 4, 5 times?
No.
No. We only clap 1 time, right? So whenever I say an important word or phrase, I want you to clap once, okay? All right. So it says, they can be as big as a person, but they run much faster. Ooh, goodness, I heard several claps. Okay, Cedric, tell me one word you clapped on. So that's a phrase, yeah, as big as a person. And why did you think that was important? Yeah, it tells you it's fast. It tells you about their size and how big they are and what they look like. Okay, Luke, did you underline or did you clap for a different word?
I clapped 3. Person. As big as a person. Climbing trees and much faster.
Good. So you read ahead. Climbing trees. That's good. We'll focus on that later. But they run much faster. I like that you pointed that out because that tells us what they do, right? They run. But is it important that we know how fast they run? Yeah, because if we're running away from a cheetah or from a leopard, we might want to know that they run really, really fast, faster than us, right? That's kind of important, right? All right, so as you are reading, you're not going to wait till the very, very end and then go back and underline. You're going to underline as you read so you don't forget what you thought were important, okay? All right, so when you go back to your desk, you will have a cold read, okay? So we have this one about leopards. And we have one about fossils, okay? So you can read both. But as you read, go ahead and put them right beside each other. And you're going to read your questions first, right? Because it tells you important words and phrases to look for, okay? So read your questions, and then you can keep it right beside. So as you're reading, you can go back to the questions and see what it's asking. Or when you're looking at your questions, you can hop right back into the story and look for them and look at what you underlined, okay? All right, so I want the pink group. You can go back to your table.